Hi guys, it's Lynn here. Hope everyone is having a fantastic plant-powered day. Now today I'm going to be potting on my little Schlumbergera truncata, commonly known as the Thanksgiving cactus, into the next pot up, and these are my little seedlings. Now I sowed these seeds in June of 2018 and they would have been a lot bigger, but they got knocked back with spider mite a couple of times. I had to treat them in neem oil, so they sort of dropped all the foliage and then started to grow again, and they're doing really well at the moment, as you can see. Little cuties there, adorable. And I'm going to show you the mother plant, because these are seeds from my very old, possibly 70-year-old, it could even be older than that, Schlumbergera truncata. I'm going to show you that now in the polytunnel. And here she is, very old Schlumbergera here, and she flowers every year for me at Christmas time and around the Thanksgiving time. Absolutely beautiful red flowers. And this one is where the seed has come from, so very special being so old. There's a long history to this mother plant. I got this from my friend John when I used to live in Sligo on the west coast of Ireland, and he'd had it for 25 years. And then he got it from a lady who'd also had it for 25 years. And apparently that lady got it from somebody else, and it was already a mature plant then. And I've had this for about probably 15 years as well. So it's got to be at least 70 years old, if not older. And you can see it's very, very woody at the base there. Lovely old plant. Gorgeous. And these are what the seeds are from the little seeds. And very excited to be potting on the little babies from this mother plant. Now when it comes to propagating Schlumbergera, obviously it's always so much easier and faster to propagate from cuttings, because you just take a couple of pads off and let them callus for a few days to harden off at the end, and then you can either root them in water or root them in soil. They root very easily. But there's something satisfying about sowing seed and growing seed, and because these are seed grown from the fruit pods from the big old Schlumbergera, it's so satisfying, I have to say. I love growing from seed. Now I've made a video on how to grow cactus from seed, and that's all in general, including succulents as well. I use the baggy method, not all the time but a lot of the time. So if you want to know how to grow cactus from seed and you've never done it before, do check out a video I've made on how to grow cactus from seed. I'll link that video up above, and it will also be down below in the video description as well. And I'll also link up above lots of other videos, and also down below in the video description on Schlumbergera, Christmas and Thanksgiving cactus in general. I've made a video on how to care for and grow Schlumbergera, both the Christmas and the Thanksgiving cactus. Also made a video on how to tell the difference between a Christmas cactus and a Thanksgiving cactus. And I've also made a couple of videos as well on how to propagate them, both with the soil method and also with the water, rooting them in water method. So do check them videos out. Lots on there, and all about little Schlumbergera and how to care for Schlumbergeras in general. And also they say growing from seed. But this is easy enough, just going to be potting this up. Now the soil mix I've made here, to show you, different to what I'd use for desert cacti. And the reason being is that desert cacti like to obviously stay dry out really quickly in between waterings, and they need a very well draining cactus soil. But with epiphytic cacti such as Schlumbergera, they do like to be kept more moist. They like more moisture and humidity in general, and they don't like to go too long dry in between waterings. At the end of the day, they are cactus. They do store water in the leaves, so they can go without water for a while, but not nowhere near as long as you would a desert cactus. So in this case I've used a different mix up entirely because it's epiphytic. And I've got a mixture here of a bit of mixture of peat, and I've mixed in a bit of loam as well, a bit of horticultural sharp sand, and a bit of perlite as well. And as I say, I would normally use grit and pumice and things like that, and extra sand with desert type of cacti. But with epiphytes I use a bit of peat in there because it likes a bit more moisture. So epiphytes normally, naturally in their natural habitats, would grow hanging off trees, and they wouldn't be growing in the desert like you'd see them, the desert cacti. These would be grown in the rainforest, totally different environment and care entirely. So and if by chance you don't know whether you have a desert cactus or an epiphytic cactus and you're new to growing cacti, I'll also link a video down below on how to tell the difference between a desert and an epiphytic cactus. So there we go, got that out the way there. Me waffling on. Now I'll get on to the repotting. Put a bit of soil at the bottom, probably need to put a bit more in there anyway. And I'm just going to loosen up the pot here and have a look at the root system. Now I've loosened that up, and then I'm going to very carefully then get it out of its pot, like a little sandcastle. And there we go. As you can see, roots. And what I'm going to be doing with this, although these are all sort of separate little seedlings in here, I'm going to keep this as it is, compact, because Schlumbergera often grows in sort of bunches as well. They're still very young seedlings. As I said, they would have been much bigger than this normally, but they have got knocked back a couple of times with the annoying spider mite. But as you can see here, they're very healthy and fresh. And I treated them with neem oil, which is a great insecticide. So I've made many videos on that as well. So do check. I'll link at the video down below on how to use neem oil to get rid of insect pests. Now this is covered in moss here. I'm leaving this as well because, as I say, they're epiphytes. They grow naturally hanging off trees. They're often covered in leaves, moss and all the rest of it. So this isn't going to be harmful at all. And I'm going to put a bit more soil in there. Normally if this root ball was completely matted and it was all tied up, I would loosen it a little bit to loosen the roots up, but as you can see, it's quite loose anyway, plenty down there. No, not compacted in any form, so the less I sort of touch the roots, personally I think it's better in my experience, so that's fine. Now I'm going to be doing here then is putting more soil in the bottom. So you see how loose this soil is. It's very loose and airy, because completely different soil to what I'd use for desert cactus. This is much more looser, and put a little bit in there. Now what I normally do when I repot cacti, I don't water for a few days, and that's because I allow any roots to settle down. Put a little bit of soil out of that now. But with epiphytic cacti now, sometimes I will go ahead and water straight away, but I won't in this case either, because the soil is still damp, so not a problem. I'm just going to leave it probably for a few days, about 5 days, before I give this a bit of water again. Just want to make sure that's pretty centralised there. Lovely, little cuties. And then, there we go, soil here, all around the edges. Tuck it in. Good to use a blunt end of an instrument. In this case I'm using a spoon. Back end of it here, the handle, just to push it down. I also like to sort of gently tap as well, so the soil gets all around the sides there. So it's so lovely to pot on little seedlings here. So if these were desert cacti seedlings, I probably would separate them all into little pots, but these are fine growing as they are all together because it's an epiphyte. There's still plenty of space around them as well. Nearly done. Just gently pressing down here. Make sure it's obviously up to the soil line. Now normally if it was a desert cactus, I'd probably top it off with a little bit of top dressing, but I won't be doing that with these because the soil needs to be remained moist sort of at the top as well. They like more humidity. And that's it. I've left the moss on underneath because it's not going to hurt. Little cutie. And that's it. Don't they look better now than the new pot and the label Schlumbergera from my old plant truncata. Seed sown June 2018. That can go in there, and then that's going to go back into my grow room under the grow lights. So I hope you enjoyed that little repotting video, guys, and hope you think it's a little cutie, so lovely to grow from seed. And for lots more tips and tricks on how you can care for and grow cacti and succulents, then please do subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to click that notification bell so you can be notified when I upload new videos. And you can also follow me on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook at Desert Plants of Avalon. And for more growing tips as well on how to care for and grow cacti and succulents, do check out my website, desertplantsofavalon.com. And I have lots of growing tips on there, as well as regular blogs and info on lots of different types of cacti and succulents too. So I want to say send you loads of love, heaps of happiness, and tons of cute little cactus power from across the Emerald Isle. And until my next video, bye. Bye.